Good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Thompson. I'm doing part 4 of my conversion of the 1426th USS Arizona kit into the USS Pennsylvania. I did encounter a few more challenges this time around. Among them was basically the superstructure. The forward superstructure needed gun directors. Now, the 1935 version, I couldn't find the parts to make the gun directors. So I had another choice. My choice for this was to basically use the stock Revell gun directors, and I took the ears where they're mounted off of the top superstructure deck with the post, and I put them on the superstructure. I grafted them on, which I'll show you in a second. Actually, I grafted them on so you could see the post actually on the superstructure, and also the top deck here on the tripod before the mast top. I had to replace parts of that. What I did was I had a spare deck with machine gun tubs, with rounded machine gun tubs. I had to glue them on the front and on the back of the deck in order to make it look correct. In addition, you're also going to notice there's a couple other superstructure changes I've made. One of which being the addition of the new halyard booms and the yardarm. I kind of redid this because in order to accommodate the gun directors, the Pennsylvania in 1938 did have these booms attached as well as these gun directors. So that was something that I had to do. Now, difference between 35 to 38. In 1935, the Pennsylvania did have a wooden deck down, and she did not have the splinter shields on the guns here, the 5-inch guns. So now that means with my photo etch set coming, I'm going to be getting splinter shields that I have to make and bend again. So I'll put those guys back on. I'm going to add that back to the model. It will improve the appearance significantly. So that's not an issue. Both boat cranes are done. They came out very nice. I was very impressed with the level of detail in spite of the fact that one mistake I was telling you about last video where the railing actually sits higher than it should be, but I'm kind of making do with it. I also did the catapults here and painted them. I got the turret catapult on number 3 turret, and also the stern catapult here, as you could see, and the aft crane. Both of those were fun, except over where this strong back goes, what happened was there was a tiny piece that was supposed to get glued onto the crane. Sadly, that piece decided to fly away when I cut it off the photo etch fret. Didn't have a spare. So I wound up building it like this just for now, just to have something to more or less take the place of it. I know it's not 100% accurate, but it still looks pretty good, and I'm going to kind of make do with that. Now, I did apply the 38 to the turret. Let's see if I can turn this over here. There you go. There's your 38 on the turret. I also put searchlights on the forward superstructure as well. Now, these forward superstructure searchlights were originally supposed to go on the rear tripod on the Arizona, but on Pennsylvania they moved forward. So that's another thing. I did also, like I say, do work on the funnel, which is supposed to go here. However, I'm waiting to attach that and also get some photo etch for that funnel. And I'm going to wait to attach that because I have to put in the railings and the stairs and these ladder wells in the back of the forward superstructure. So there is a lot more detailing to come. I also wanted to mention, too, while I'm at it, I did do some work on the forecastle deck here. One of the things I did was I was not happy at all with the molded anchor chain that they give you in the kit. It looks really bad. So I happen to have some brass chain that I bought at Michael's a while back, and I had enough left over. I was able to follow. It was the right size, and I was able to follow these spots on the chain plate where the chains go through, and I even put them in the hawsers just so it would have that realistic effect. I like it, actually. I put a coat of paint on it, and you would never know the difference. So it looks far superior to the molded version, and you don't have to worry about doing washes and possibly ruining your work on this, as this model is a task to paint and detail, which is what I was telling you before in the previous video about it being a deceptively simple model. Excuse me. One of the other things that I wanted to point out too is the boats. The boats on the Pennsylvania are going to be different, which means I have to do some research on them. I have James Flood's picture, which I initially was trying to go with. That was a 1935 to 37 picture of the Pennsylvania. I may actually wind up still following that picture in terms of 4 planes. I'm going to put 4 planes on board, even though I found a picture, it was a rendering somebody did that showed 2. So it's interesting because she had the biplanes apparently in 1938. It wasn't until later that she wound up getting the Kingfishers. So that's definitely a change to the ship there. One of the other things that I wanted to point out too is there's still quite a bit of photo etch work to be done on the tripod mast tops as well. I have some stuff coming in, like I said. Hopefully gold medal models will fill in all the ends. It's definitely going to look a lot different when I start putting more detail on the ship and making it look more like a battleship. I just hope I have enough of that Tester's gray paint to go around. So that's definitely in the works, possibly to order. But I do have the bridge correct, and the bridge will work with that design. They didn't start closing it in until a little bit later when they expanded the windows out. Right now on the scheme, it's a small wheelhouse. It did expand out a little bit, and then of course naturally with the post Pearl Harbor modernization, when they basically added the 5-inch gun turrets, the double mounted 5-inch gun turrets, the bridge also changed in shape again, and it went from square windows to portholes. So that's also for, the little factoid for you Pennsylvania modelers out there that want to do a much later version of it. Like I said, there is a version available, so that'll save you a whole bunch of agita in building the new modernized Pennsylvania, so to speak, the 1944, 1945 configuration. So that basically concludes my work. I will have some more photo etch done, and have a great day. Thanks.